Okay, I'll touch briefly on emotion. Emotion's a funny thing because in the Hawkins world where we debate these ideas of first and second function quite a bit, um, sometimes whenever emotion comes in, people say, oh, immediately emotion moves us into second function because then we start seeing desires and wants and immediately we get to the second function and we want to see a story. Yeah. Now, paintings can be much more abstract than human beings. Human beings bring emotion into the mix immediately, yeah. And Paul Taylor made an interesting comment once where he said, well, dancers are not exactly like tubes of paint that that cover the canvas of the space. The dancers have character, they have personality, and they bring those things into the work of art. So we could say that it's actually hard for a dancer to be so purely first functional. Even things like gender come into the mix of it. You know, I was in an audition recently and some of the dancers said, wow, when you see men do the movement, it's different. It's different. And what they were talking about is men do the movement differently in the first function than women do the movement. You know, so gender factors in to our perception of the first functional elements of the work. And those become decisions for choreographers to choose. Do I want men in my piece? Do I need men in the piece? Or do I really want this lovely group of women? Yeah. And I only say that because often there's more women at an audition than men typically. So that it's like a different paint and a paint that there's less commodity of that to happen. But emotion factors in to our work. And I would say that even with emotion, Romeo and Juliet, we can tell the love story really deeply in the second function with all of the characteristics. But you could also have a more abstract first functional dance that is just about love, the feeling of being in love. Yeah. Recently, a student made a piece. Actually, someone in this class made a piece that was that first feeling of falling in love. You know, the butterflies that one feels with that. So that there you're seeing this is not Romeo and Juliet. It's not the full-blown drama, but we're starting to get some characters and we're starting to slide that way because of that emotion. But always I say in the Hawkins world when I have this discussion is think about what do we perceive and pick up immediately in and of itself for its own sake from our intuition. And often love, we can see that signature. Even if we don't know, we can just see the fingerprints of it and we know when people are in love. We know when people have a fondness for one another and we can pick up on the movement of that and the sound of that in a voice. We know and we hear that. So love and emotion can be first functional and have first functional immediately apprehended elements. So that's a cool kind of thing and idea. Yeah. So also first function, there are some times when first functional things pick up elements and we see them as second functional. Yeah, they become trademarks for something. They become ideas that we immediately put the postulate idea with it when we see it. Yeah, and some people think colors do that. That they'll think that oh, green is the color of envy, you know, or they'll have red is the color of passion. That there's sometimes people will see even things that are very first functional, we'll see them as that, and we're trained to see them. Valentine's Day is a lot of the color red, pink and red, so that these things become associated with that. Holidays do as well. Christmas, Hanukkah, colors get associated with different and then we start to see them in the second function, not just purely in the first function. And again, we'll touch on that when we get to language. But my main example of that, I'll show you this, is that sometimes if I show you a red octagon and I ask you, what does it mean? Some people will say that is a stop sign, because we're so used to seeing the red octagon and thinking, oh, that means stop. Now, often we write stop on the stop sign, but you can put the red octagon without the word stop and people would still know what it means, yeah? Different times, purple sometimes was seen as a color for the royalty because the color indigo, the dye, was a difficult dye to achieve, so it was more precious, because it was harder to get and harder to deal with than other colors. So royal purple became a color of that. Yeah. Here's a cartoon, and it's kind of fun, and this is a kind of language kind of cartoon because here these two women are looking at this big abstract painting, and the one is saying, oh look, I think I see a little bunny. So it's cute because we sometimes will look for meaning in things that are first functional, yeah. And that's what Greenberg was saying, is let's just enjoy it. That's what Northrop was really after. Let's really see the first function in and of itself for its own sake. Then we see the second function postulative ideas. What he ultimately wanted us to do was east met west, and we were able to see both of those things at the same time. And that's a cool thing when you do that with a work of art.